Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're taking a deep, data-driven look at something that quietly dictates the success or absolute failure of modern businesses. I'm talking about search perception. We're going to unpack an intriguing set of documents that outline exactly why businesses are turning to a service called Clear My Name for Google Review Management. And look, this isn't just about chasing 5 stars. It's about the hard math of local search and digital trust. The materials we're looking at today break down exactly how your reputation is quantified by algorithms and how that literally translates to your bottom line. So let's get started.
But before we get into the algorithms and the raw data, I really want to ask you a question. What do customers actually see before they ever pick up the phone, walk into your store, or even click on your website? Think about your own habits for a second. When you're looking for a new service or a place to eat, you don't just blindly trust a billboard or a flashy website first, do you?
Exactly. It's your Google reviews. Our source material emphasizes this heavily. Reputation signals shape consumer behavior long before a prospect ever visits a website or makes contact. These reviews form an immediate first impression. Think of them as the ultimate front door to your business. If that front door looks even a little bit compromised, well, a customer simply walks away. These reviews are actively influencing purchasing decisions right this very second, acting as the absolute first filter for consumer trust.
Section 1. The Power of Perception and Local SEO. All right, this is where we transition from human psychology into the hidden mechanics of search algorithms. We need to understand a really vital concept here: entity credibility. The documents define this as Google's evaluation of a business's trustworthiness and relevance based on continuous reputation signals. Basically, reviews are not just passive customer feedback anymore. They are active search signals. They're the trust signals that Google's algorithm uses to dictate your visibility. So strong review profiles increase customer confidence, sure, but they also literally tell the search engine, hey, this business is relevant, reliable, and absolutely credible. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what goes into that calculation. Entity credibility is measured by 4 core signals: review quality, review frequency, review responses, and overall sentiment. It's actually fascinating because a highly subjective concept like reputation is being measured by hard algorithmic data. Google is evaluating how often you get reviews, whether you actively respond to them, what the text actually says, and the overall emotional sentiment of your customer base. It's a continuous, measurable ecosystem that literally never sleeps. So how do we actually manipulate this for the better? Well, the source outlines that visibility improvements occur through the active management of these specific elements. By increasing your review frequency, you maintain fresh reputation signals. By improving the overall review sentiment, you strengthen trust indicators. Enhancing your response activity proves to both customers and Google that you're engaged and accountable. And, critically, by identifying reputation weaknesses early, you can correct course. Actively managing these factors leads directly to higher local rankings, increased click-through rates, and ultimately, a much greater conversion potential. Section 2. Risks of unmanaged reviews. Now, we really need to explore the compounding risks and the very real financial consequences of passively ignoring this review ecosystem. The text notes that a single negative review rarely destroys a business overnight. But let's walk through what happens when things are unmanaged. Month 1, unanswered criticism is left visible for everyone to see. By month 3, that unchecked pattern causes overall ratings to decline and public sentiment drops. Fast forward to month 6, your local SEO actually drops because Google sees a loss in entity credibility. As a result, your customer acquisition costs rise because your conversion rates are tanking. It's a massive compounding perception problem. Which leads us directly to this harsh business reality. Unmanaged reviews give competitors the advantage. Search ecosystems reward credibility and consistency. So if you ignore your review management, you are essentially handing your market share and your customer trust directly over to rivals who have stronger, more managed signals. You're just letting them dominate the public narrative in your local market while you remain totally silent. Section 3. Proactive Reputation Management. Looking at the methodology presented in the source material, there are essentially 2 ways to handle all of this. You have reactive reputation repair, which is basically short-term damage control after the fact. You get a bad review, you panic, and you try to fix it after the damage is already done. And then you have ongoing review management. The source text makes it crystal clear that ongoing management is far more effective. Reactive strategies address visible problems way too late. Ongoing management, on the other hand, establishes consistent reputation signals that prevent instability from ever developing in the first place. So the crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote from the text.
Occasional negative feedback has less influence when supported by a strong foundation of positive sentiment. Continuous management builds an impenetrable shield of public confidence. If you have a massive, continuously updated foundation of positive reviews and active engagement, that one rogue one-star review barely makes a dent. The overall narrative remains totally balanced and the consumer's trust remains completely intact.
Section 4. The Clear My Name Solution. This brings us to the specific framework outlined in our source documents. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it proves professional management isn't just guesswork. It's a structured, evidence-based process. According to the documents, Clear My Name approaches this in 3 specific steps. Step 1 is a reputation audit, assessing your existing review patterns, sentiment trends, and any perception gaps. Step 2 involves targeted actions to improve review quality, response consistency, and sentiment balance. And Step 3 is sentiment monitoring, to identify emerging risks early and maintain stability. It's this continuous, strategic loop of perception control.
But does the cost actually justify the investment? Well, the documents argue that effective management connects directly back to your bottom line. It improves conversion rates, reduces reputation risks before they escalate, strengthens local search visibility, enhances customer confidence, and supports long-term brand credibility. When you measure that against customer lifetime value and the constantly rising cost of customer acquisition, controlling your digital reputation isn't just an expense, it is a vital, revenue-protecting asset.
And this brings us to a really high-impact thesis statement that perfectly summarizes the core message of this entire explainer. Reputation is one of a business's most valuable assets. It affects your revenue, your acquisition efficiency, and trust. Every single review contributes to how both search engines and potential customers evaluate your business. It is literally your most valuable yet most public asset.
For business owners looking to explore this framework further, the source material points directly to www.clearmyname.org for professional management and long-term stability. It's presented as the destination for executives who are finally ready to take control of their search perception, focusing on entity credibility and SERP control.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Take a hard look at your own search presence. Are your current reviews working for you, driving trust, and boosting your local SEO? Or are they working against you, quietly handing your customers over to the competition before you even know they exist? It's a question every business owner needs to answer honestly. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.